up to the back porch. Here we are again. It's August the 9th, or it was just the other day, and people come from all over the United States. Some people come from other countries to see Manson stuff. Not just on August the 9th, but August the 9th is kind of, I don't know, I guess a special day, however you look at it, maybe not for the victims. But there are things that happen here at Los Angeles, and that's what we're going to cover today on this video, because there's people that came from other parts of the country, and when they come, they want me sometimes to give them a Manson tour. So I got to come up with things to do, and we came up with several things to do. Several things that had ticketed events that we're going to show you every place we went.
Look forward to seeing you again sometime. Don't know when because Family Jams is going on. But until then, don't keep playing us, I guess. Come see us at our merch table. Say hi. Bye.
In Simi Valley that Stoner Van Houten has every year for the past 8 years, I suppose, or something like that. It's called Family Jams, and the guy had a I don't know, it was like a train model set, but he didn't have a train there, but he had all the buildings of he had Spawn Ranch, as you can see there, and he had the Tate House, he had the La Bianca House, he even had the swimming pool out there, but it was called Family Jams, and this was the commemorative ticket from it, one of 250. And that was in Simi Valley, California on August the 9th. And it started at about 10 o'clock. And it went on till about 6 o'clock. Does it feel like on the ends, are you nervous right now?
Excited, I think is a better term. It's excited.
Have you ever always wanted to play here?
I've always wanted to play.
Has it been a dream?
It has been a dream. So it is a bucket list. It is a dream, man. So it's really cool to be here. Got to play it last night. We played with a different band last night. So this will be the first one playing my music here. So it's awesome. Everybody's played at the world famous Whisky A Go Go.
Yeah, really. Right on Sunset Boulevard, man. People were hanging out.
Yeah.
It's like, it would be a dream for me, man. I'm serious. It'd be like, wow. I can't fucking believe it. I don't know if I'd be able to talk.
It's awesome, man. It's surreal. It's cool to be here. cool to be here. You know, I watched Motley Crue play here. I watched, you know, Guns N' Roses, Poison, all those guys that I grew up listening to. And it's just cool as crap to finally be on the stage. Like Jimi Hendrix was on, Janis Joplin was on, the Beach Boys have been
This was like The Doors was the house band here.
The Doors were the house band. You believe the Doors were the house band.
The night before that, of course, I had to go to the Whiskey. You know, talking so much about Capistrano, a lot of things Capistrano happened at the Whiskey. But there was things at Manson that happened at the Whiskey too, that I just had to go look at. Stories that happen at the Whiskey. Actually, there's a story about how Roman Polanski goes on one of his first dates with Sharon Tate at the Whiskey after Roman stole Sharon Tate away from Jay Sebring. But there's also stories about Manson, where Manson used to go and dance crazy on the dance floor in the place. So I got some shots of the dance floor in there. I don't know, it's just significant to me because Manson, I mean, part of the worn off floor might be Charles Manson, who knows. So I got some shots of that. I also went out in the back because there was a story that the owner told of how Charles Manson was waiting on the back steps one day and he wanted an audition to play at the Whiskey. And the owner had to come out and throw him out of the building, basically throw him off the property, tell him that's not how you get an audition, and shooed Manson off. And then later, the owner tells a story about how he found Charles Manson in the Whiskey in the middle of the night after it had already been closed down. So Manson, he's spent a lot of time down at the Whiskey, and so did Buffalo Springfield, and a lot of other people that we were talking about were associated with Cappy. You know, the Doors spent a lot of time there. They were the house band there at one time, so was Buffalo Springfield, and everybody you can imagine probably played at the Whiskey at one point. And here's the video where me and Kobe, we go out to the back of the building and we're looking for that spot where the owner kicked Charles Manson out.
Yeah, it was there was one of the stories about Manson where the owner, the guy's picture that's in the front door there,
Yeah.
Manson was out here waiting. One of these places on the doorstep. Was either here or up there, and the owner came out and seen Manson and threw him out, told him to get out of here. Then there was another story.
You threw him out from the inside?
No, Manson was out here. He was out here sitting. That was the story that the owner, one of the owners told.
No shit.
Then the owner's sons told the story about Manson dancing on the dance floor and they had to throw him out. And then Ozzy told in his book how he came in here during his tour and the Manson family was in here for his tour, for his first show here in LA. Yeah.
Who was left in the family?
It was every Ozzy came around like
Oh, David Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came with them. So it was one of these doors that Manson was sitting at when the original owner came out and told him to get the hell out.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I was talking to the guy out there and he said there's a guy who comes to the Whiskey and he says he's been coming here since the 60s and he says he claims that they're lying that everybody here knew Charlie.
Really?
That's what the guy told me out there. Yeah.
Huh. Who told you that?
The guy that was at the front.
Oh, no shit.
But I have the owner's son talking about something. I'll have to find it and mix it up with the video.
Yeah.
But I have that. Jake, even Greg Jacobson was talking about when Manson was down here.
That was me and Colby outside the Whiskey, I don't know, it was around 11 o'clock at night. We were sneaking around the back of the building, what looked like we were sneaking around the back of the building. I was filming the doors and stuff, and that alerted security for the second time, because the first time I alerted security, I was filming on the inside. Second time they came out and they wanted to know, what in the world are you doing out in the parking lot filming the back doors? So I had to go through and tell them the whole Manson story. And actually they were quite fine with it, and you know, they even told me a few Manson stories, like an old timer that comes to the Whiskey and he claims that people that say they didn't know Charles Manson, they all knew him. Basically this guy says Manson knew everybody and everybody knew Manson there. So there's another story about, I mean, the more you get into things and places, people will tell you all kinds of stories. Who knows if they're true, who knows if they're not. It's just fun searching the history. And if you've never been there, now you have, just by being on this.
Well, that'll help. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Hey, yep. 1, 2. Yep. Yep.
Kobe was with me, and he's here right now, so he can step in here. And when we went out to the back of the lot, the security guy came up and he was talking to me for a long period of time after that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A lot of people down there are really interested in Manson. They might not act like they are, but everybody likes Charlie down there. I was talking to the people at the door. They like Charlie. Everybody likes Charlie. Did you have fun down there? Was it fun at that thing?
Oh,
At
yeah.
the Whiskey? It was the first time you ever been to the
That was
Whiskey?
the first time I ever been there, and it was cool.
What did you?
I was surprised how small it was. I mean, I've seen nightclubs where I live bigger than that there, and
That's why they had to attach the women. They used to attach the women to cages, and the women used to dance, go-go dance in cages above, because the room itself it's only like double the size of my garage here. It's not really that big.
but there is the balcony seating and a bar up there, and you walk around like a balcony, which I guess.
Who's some of the people that played there? Like the Doors,
Frank
Buffalo,
Zappa.
Zappa played there. Aerosmith played there. I know. I looked it up.
All the 80s hair bands, I mean.
Yeah, Motley Crue used to live up the street in an apartment building. They used to walk down there.
Yeah.
So it's full of history. It's just right across from the Whiskey. If you just look right up the street on Sunset Boulevard, you can see the Viper Room. The outside, you can almost, if the night that River Phoenix collapsed in the street, or collapsed in the place and they drug him out the street, however it happened, you could have seen the chaos. That's how close this place is to each other. So it's pretty historic. It was fun. There was a guy by the name of Chuck Chapman who was actually playing there, and that's who we went to see. And he was also coming out to play at that event that I was showing you earlier with Stoner Van Houten. And this was just another one of the things that we went to for an August night tour.
Yeah.
The next night we went to, well, it was on August the 9th as well. We went to a screening and book signing and, I don't know, a discussion about Jay Sebring. His nephew was there, his sister was there, his ex-wife was there, one of the mayors of Los Angeles was there, Pat Boone was there, Colby was there, I was there. There was a lot of people. It was packed.
It was interesting.
And it was pretty fun. What did you think about this night?
I thought that was very interesting. And I think, like the fact that, there are a lot of people say Jay Sebring was a drug dealer and he was doing this and that, But the thing that was sad is that his family had to listen to all that, and they were presented with all this paperwork and stuff of what people said about Jay, and they were just aghast. They were like, that's not the Jay we know. He didn't do that shit. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. He wasn't like, into orgies and all this shit. I mean, maybe he was. I don't know. But
that's not something the family would know anyway.
Right.
And then why do you want to point it out to him? We also got to meet Jay's protege, the guy that was 19 years old, who was friends with Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Tell him some of the things that guy did. One of the things that struck me with that guy was he goes, yeah, we used to like it because Sharon Tate used to come in and she didn't have any bra.
Yeah, and they were just like, wow. She was like only celebrity who didn't wear a bra around, and they were just like, wow. They were just like floored by her and her beauty.
What did you think about that guy?
That guy, Joe,
He's a good guy,
he
man.
was a real sweet guy, and he's like 81 years old and still cutting hair in Beverly Hills, and he said he cut Martin Sheen's hair yesterday. But his story was interesting too, because he said he was feeling very lost for a long time. And then he started to be like, you know what? I want to help other people who have been through this, which is kind of what I do in my work. And I thought, you know what? That's so cool that he got peace through helping others and giving back.
I like that old guy, though. I mean, I really like Joe, man.
Yeah, he was really a humble guy,
And he was willing to do anything. He took pictures. I have a picture that I'll show you right now. That he took a picture off of his phone when he was young.
Yeah,
with Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. I don't know if anybody's ever seen Bruce Lee looking that young, man.
Yeah, and he looked like what? He must have been 19 at the time, Joe, right?
Yeah, he was 19, so Bruce Lee was probably
These are the autographs I got. There's Anthony there. There's Joe, the guy we were talking about. And this is the author of the book. They were all there. They all signed it. Joe, I asked him what his last name was, and he instead of writing it down, he wanted to turn to the back of the book and show me where his name was in the book. And then when he showed me where his name was in the book, he just circled it to show me how to spell his last name. So there's his last name right there. And this is the book if you're interested in reading it. It's pretty thick, actually. It looks like it's got a lot of pictures in there from the family too, of Jay and things like that. Like I was looking at, there was probably some pictures in there that you've never seen before of Jay. But it's a pretty thick book. It's 500 pages, 544 pages. So
at one point there was a question and answer section where Anthony and the filmmaker and the author of the book, they were answering questions. And one of the things that struck me that they were talking about is the attorney for Jay Sebring was talking in there, and the attorney had papers drawn up that Sharon Tate was getting a divorce from Roman Polanski, and that was the first time I ever heard that. And when you listen to the Sebring family there, it almost sounds like they have some sort of resentment. They don't. You can definitely tell that they're not as hobnobby with Roman Polanski as the Tate family is, because it sounds like they had some suspicions of the guy. But that's one thing that struck me. But again, in the question and answer, he goes over a chapter in the book that was left out. So we'll look at that right now, and that happens to be about the party that was supposed to be at, Cielo Drive. All these movie stars were supposed to show up. There was supposed to be another chapter in the book about that, but the book got too thick, so he just talks about it. Right.
Have to wonder what were those two chapters?
One was going to be on the other victims, but it was just, our book is 562 pages. So we had to scrap that idea. The other one was, who was going to be there the night of the murders. We've heard probably from 500 celebrities that they were going to be there at night, and Anthony points out, what's your famous line?
Well, what's interesting in all of this is the mythology that has been built. It's a cottage industry, and it's on its own. But so at first, when these murders, and this correlates to what you were saying, is that when these murders first hit, it was a morality tale of Hollywood decadence. So everybody who was particularly in that inner circle, they all distanced themselves. Not me. I didn't get that weird scene. No, not me, man. I didn't do anything with that. No, them. By the way, I think maybe the man in his grave might know something about that. It's because he's defenseless. And I remember my father said to me when I was reading these things when Time magazine wrote that he was anti-Negro. It's not my family. And I read it at the USC Special Collections Library. I said, Dad, what is going on with this stuff? Where are they coming up with this? Because I didn't want to bring it up with my mother because it's so offensive. He says, Anthony, I'm just going to tell you something. I knew your uncle as well as a brother-in-law could. I didn't see that. But maybe there's other sides, but I'm going to tell you one thing. They didn't write that shit when he was alive. And so now, everyone who wants that, because if you were smoking a joint at the time, that could end your career. So everybody runs for the hills. No one wants it. There could be some illicit activity at the house, whatever. So everybody's out. Now suddenly the Manson people get arrested. And now there's no connection to their lifestyle. There's no Hollywood decadence. So what happens? They all come running back from the hills. And you know what? I was supposed to be there that night. That's how stupid this crap is. And I don't know if any of you know this, but half of you in the audience were supposed to be there that night. I don't mean to make light of it, but it's that absurd. It's that insipid. And so for these people who would see that this is a lightning rod to somehow associate themselves with something that's historical, there's no end to it, you know. I'm sorry, was that?
The famous line is,
So in a nutshell, Rick James was supposed to be there. Robert Evans was supposed to be there. Now, by the way, Jay was a proponent for Rick James and just loved his band and was trying to help. And Robert Evans was tight with Roman, and Robert Vaughn said he was supposed to be there. Steve McQueen said he was supposed to be there. I ran into Warren Beatty one night at Chateau Marmont. He told me he was supposed to be there. I wish he would have done the interview because I wouldn't have talked about that. I wouldn't have embarrassed him. But so now, if you really look at it, and you look at the paradigm, the pantheon of urban folklore. So this was a well-known house from the 20s in which show business and entertainment industry people lived there. Actresses, producers, writers, all kinds of people. So it was fairly well known. Now, this was a Friday night in which nearly every Hollywood A-list figure was invited to a party in Hollywood on a Friday night. Now, this would have to be possibly the first time in history in which everybody in town was invited to this party on a Friday night and precisely not one single person showed up. And then there's the sad reality. All you have to do is do a little digging. Abigail was in her nightgown reading a book in bed. She lived there with Wojtek. Wojtek was slumbering on the sofa. Jay and Sharon were talking in her bedroom. 3 of the people lived there. And I saw a recent McQueen documentary, and they were like, it was the party, and the party goers were slaughtered. Okay. So, and of course, Stephen Perrin, he was visiting William Garrettson. These were people just living a normal, quiet life on a peaceful night, you know. And again, I've always, when I read when Jay was a coward, and then I scoured through the testimony, because it's not in Vince's book. Why not? Because he's the hero of his own true crime novel. So when I found out what Jay did, and we followed up with Charles Watson, because I have more questions, and it's in the book. This book is backed by documentation, evidence, more so than any other book, because we knew, just like Johnny and I knew, and Marshall knows, we know that we're going to be scrutinized more than any other book. You can say that, the CIA's involved, and the Martians are next, and people will go, yeah, that makes sense. But they're going to question us, and that's okay, you know? So, kind of lost my trend. I spent my whole life wanting to know what Jay did in the last moments of his life. And it took that to find out that not once but twice, he aggressively charged. And I lived much of my life not knowing that, and not knowing that my uncle was this creepy guy. But now, after all these years, and again, if all you have to do is just do a little research, and the truth is right there,
I think we're going to still sign some books for just a little bit.
Oh, you know what? We need to I want to thank all of you for being here, and I'm sure, it's kind of overwhelming. I'm not used to this. Usually I have a script that I like to reference. No, but American Cinematheque, Larry Edmonds Bookstore, Genius Publishing, and all my colleagues who are warriors in getting Jay's story out there in its truest form. And all the family and friends who are here with me, many of who have traveled from out of state. I love you guys. Take care.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
It's not a question, but I just want to say your whole family is so grateful for your lifelong journey. but telling Uncle Jay's story. We are so proud of you. Thank you, Marshall, for helping write the book, and Johnny for the documentary. We love you so much. And Uncle Jay is very proud. Heck yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Well, just a couple things you can do here in Los Angeles on August the 9th. The Whisky A Go Go Family Jams and a night with the Sebring family. And until next time, then I come back and talk about Capistrano some more, or maybe Sandra Good some more, or maybe Lynette Fromey some more, maybe even Manson, who knows. Peace. Goes a plane. See you later.